missing this, who can't be here today. So again, we're talking about politics, culture clash, and the musical. And let's go back to the to here, where we'll share it all. Okay. So we are going to focus on hair, and what you're going to remember is the Smothers Brothers were quite controversial on their own. Remember, they were always in battle with CBS censors about what was appropriate for primetime television. So it was apropos that they would choose hair.
Meditation on the ocean of reality. Love, 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 love.
Head with hair, long, beautiful hair, shining, gleaming, steaming, flaxen, waxen. Give me down the fair hair, shoulder length or longer. Here, baby, there, mama, everywhere, daddy, daddy, hair. Blow it, long, got to blow it, my hair. Let it fly in the breeze and get caught in the trees. Give a home to the fleas in my hair. A home for bees, a hive for bees. wonder, and that's what birds say. Ain't no words for the beauty, splendor, the wonder of my hair. Blow it up, show it up, long, got to blow it, my hair. I want it long, straight, curly, fuzzy, snacky, snacky, waxy, matchy, oily, greasy, greasy, shiny, greeny, greeny, blacky, blacky, not a polka dot, twisted, fever, braided, not a flower, and confetti, tango, tango, spangled, and spaghetti. Oh, say, can you say, oi, oi, you can't, and my hands are short. Down to here, down to there, down to there, down to where it stops by itself. They'll be gaga and the go-go when they see me in my toga made of blonde, brilliant jeans, biblical hair. My hair like Jesus wore it, hallelujah, I adore it, hallelujah, Mary loves the sun. Why don't my mother love me? Hair, blow it, show it, long, got you blow it, my hair, blow it, show it, long, got you blow it, my hair, blow it, show it, long, got you blow it, my hair.
Now, it's definitely a period piece. And, you look at that and go, this is who we were. But again, it was very anti-war. It was anti-establishment. It was anti-everything that was what people thought of at the time. About 10 years ago, hair was revived. And you could say, why bother? Did it really make sense? But, baby boomers love to go back and view the things that they remembered. So here it was again 10 years ago. I just wanted you to see, they had to put on makeup and wigs to do it 10 years ago.
Hair.
She asks me why I'm just a hairy guy. I'm hairy noon and night. Hair, that's a fight. I'm hairy high and low. Don't ask me why. Don't know. It's not for lack of bread, like the Grateful Dead. Darling, give me a head with hair, long beautiful hair, shining, gleaming, steaming, flaxen, waxen. Give me down to there, hair, shoulder ain't no longer. Here, baby, there, mama, everywhere, daddy, daddy, yeah.
Well, it hadn't changed much, but now it was a period piece, and we all got to go back and revisit our youth and go to see Hair in revival.
Hair.
Meanwhile, 1776, when it came out in the same year as Hair, who would have thought that a musical about the writing of the 1776 of the Declaration of Independence would be relevant for the audiences at the time. It was very, very well accepted, and there was a very unique situation within the musical where there was a 30-minute period of time without a single musical number. They kept trying to find something to add there, but they felt it detracted from what the purpose of the scene was. No one would have believed if you were to have said in 1968, after the Democratic Convention and the riots and everything that was happening, that a musical to be written about the creation of the Declaration of Independence, it even had its own anti-war pieces in it. It really was very interesting. It's not exactly factual, by the way, but in any event, here are a couple segments of that, and you can see what they were trying to accomplish.
I have come to the conclusion that one useless man is called a disgrace, that two are called a law firm, and that three or more become a Congress. And by God, I have had this Congress. For 10 years, King George and his parliament have gulled, cullied, and diddled these colonies with their illegal taxes. And still, this Congress won't grant any of my proposals on independence, even so much as the courtesy of open debate. Good God! What in hell are they waiting for? Sit down, John. Sit down, John. I gotta sing, John. Sit down. Sit down, John. Sit down, John. I gotta sing, John. Sit down. Someone ought to open up a window. It's nice in a breeze. Have mercy, John, please. It's awesome. Someone ought to open up a window. I say vote yes. Vote yes. Vote for independence. Someone ought to open up a window. I say vote yes. Vote for independence. Someone ought to open up a window. Too many flies, but it's hot as hell in Philadelphia. Open a window and become right here. Vote yes. No, too many flies here. Vote yes. Oh, for God's sake, John, sit down. Good God! Consider yourselves fortunate that you have John Adams to abuse. For no sane man would tolerate it. John, you're more. We've heard this before. Now, for God's sake, John, sit down. I say vote yes. No. Vote yes. No. Vote for independence. No. I say vote yes. Sit down, John. Vote for independence. No. I say vote yes. Vote yes. Oh, for God's sake, John, sit down.
This very dramatic sequence, it's, well, you'll see how controversial it really is.
Carriers of slaves to others. They're willing. Haven't you heard, Mr. Adams?
Lasses to rum, to slaves. Oh, what a beautiful waltz. You dance with us, we dance with you in molasses and rum and slaves. Who sail the ships out of Boston, laden with Bibles and rum? Who drinks a toast to the Ivory Coast? Hail Africa, the slavers have come. New England with Bibles and rum. And he's off with the rum and the Bibles. Take on the slaves, clink, clink. Then hail and farewell to the smell of the African coast. Molasses to rum, to slaves. 'Tisn't models, 'tis money that saves. Shall we dance to the sound of the profitable pound in molasses and rum and slaves? Who sail the ships out of Guinea, laden with Bibles and slaves? 'Tis Boston can boast to the West Indies coast. Jamaica, we brown what she craves. Antigua, Barbados, we from Bibles and slaves.
Now, of course, 1776, we're sitting there in suspense. Will they really sign this Declaration of Independence? But, what you just heard has become, there's a fundamental challenge that in our country we still deal with today. But in 1776, in the midst of the war, there was this anti-war presentation.
Jefferson got away.
Well, whoops. This is Anthony Quayle
The Great White
introducing
Hope was voted the best play. And
John Adams
Angela
and
Lansbury
Abigail.
won her second Tony for Dear World. Keeping a promise first made by President Kennedy, American spacemen walked on the moon. And 400,000 American young came together to listen to music in Woodstock, New York. The Tony winner was about young revolutionaries 200 years ago in colonial America, 1776. And John Adams in Philadelphia writes to his wife in Massachusetts.
Abigail, I'm very lonely, Abigail. Come to Philadelphia, please come.
Oh, thank you, John. I do want to. But now it's not possible. The children have the measles.
Yes, so you wrote. Tom and little Abby.
Only now it's Quincy and Charles. And it appears the farm here in Braintree is failing. John, the chickens and the geese have all died. The apples never survived the late frost. How do you suppose Martha Jefferson got away?
Oh, well, the winters are softer in Virginia.
And their women, John.
Fit for Virginians, madam, but pale, puny things besides New England girls.
John, I thank you for that.
Abigail, how goes it with you?
Not well, John. Not at all well. I live like a nun in a cloister, solitary celibate. I hate it. And you, John?
I live like a monk in an abbey. Ditto, ditto, I hate it.
Write to me with sentimental effusion. Let me revel in romantic illusion.
Do you still smell of vanilla and spring air? And is my favorite lover's pillow still firm and fair?
Lovers die Come soon as you can to my cloister. I've forgotten the feel of your hand.
Soon, madam, we shall walk in Cupid's grove together, and we'll fondly serve that promised land.
Till then,
I am as I ever was, and never shall be. Yours, 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 yours,
You know, the letters of John and Abigail, made the basis of a book about John Adams. But, to hear them sung, you hear the challenges that they faced doing this. Well, some years later, in the Rodgers and Hammerstein vein, which in the mid 1970s was not quite the style of the musical. In fact, Rodgers and Hammerstein at that point in time, their works were viewed as almost charming, cute, and dated. But this was Shenandoah, an anti-war Civil War musical based upon a John Wayne movie. The political presentation was that war has no value, and it ran for quite some time, but it was really just the style of it was, if it had been 10 years earlier, would have probably been further embraced.
Presenting Tony Award winner John Cullum in Broadway's musical hit, Shenandoah.
This farm don't belong to Virginia. My sons bleed, but not for the South. This land here is Anderson land, by the strength of my hand and the sweat on my brow. For as long as the Lord will.
Shenandoah. See it at the Alvin Theater. Hear it on RCA Records and tape.
Interestingly enough, if you're looking stylistically at why the comparison between Shenandoah and Rodgers and Hammerstein, this was similar to the soliloquy that Billy Bigelow would have stated at the end of Act One in Carousel. Shenandoah was about two brothers who fought on opposite sides of the Civil War and how it destroyed a family. Now, Pacific Overtures, Hal Prince thought this was the greatest of the Sondheim musicals that he created. He thought everything about it was perfect, and I'll be candid, it's my least favorite of the works. However, it was quite brilliant in the way it was set out, like a kabuki story done in the kabuki style about the trip of Admiral Perry to Japan in the 1860s. The Japanese wanted to just be left alone. And the way the story progresses and the way it's told, you get the sense that World War II and the Japanese imperialism was deeply rooted in their resentment for being intruded upon in the 1860s.
Hayama Yazaemon's plan was a success. The letter was delivered. The Americans were satisfied. And they left. We tore down the house. We rolled up the maps, taking great care that the contaminated side should not touch the ground. Once again, all was as it had been. The barbarian threat had forever been removed. Ah!
again, the kabuki style, and you heard the character saying that they viewed the American interlopers as barbarians. Well, of course, the story of Eva Peron certainly is as political as it gets. How a movie actress drives herself to attach herself to a very opportunistic general, and how the two of them take over Argentina. We all know the story of Evita. It's not exactly accurate. Patti LuPone getting her very big break in 1978 in this. And if any of you have been on my weekend trips to New York, in the scene with Patti LuPone in the stole and the men behind her, the second person from the right is my friend Peter, who some of you have actually met on several occasions. But this is Elaine Page, the original Evita in London, and her rendition of Don't Cry for Me, Argentina.
Won't be easy. You'll think it's strange when I try to explain how I feel, that I still need your love after all that I've done. You won't believe me. All you will see is a girl you once knew, although she's dressed up to the nines, at sixes and sevens with you. I had to let it happen. I had to change. Couldn't stay all my life down at here, looking out of the window, staying out of the sun. So I chose freedom, running around, trying everything new, but nothing impressed me at all. I never expected it to. Don't cry for me, Argentina. The truth is, I never left you. All through my wild days, my bad existence, I kept my promise. Don't keep your distance. And as for fortune, and as for fame, I never invited them in, though it seemed to the world they were all I desired. They are illusions, they are not the solutions they promised to be. The answer was here all the time. I love you and hope you love me. Don't cry for me, Argentina. The truth is, I never left you. All through my wild days, my bad existence, I kept my promise. Don't keep your distance. I said too much. There's nothing more I can think of to say to you. But all you have to do is look at me to know that every word is true.
ironically, that these are despicable people, and yet we were fascinated by the storytelling. Now, Les Mis, of course, you could say, well, was this really political? But at a point in time in the story, it's sent against a revolt of the French people. The French government after the revolution was one challenge after another. And there's this moment that I thought would be great to share. Again, talking about the fate of battle and war and revolution.
There's a grief that can't be spoken. There's a pain goes on and on. Empty chairs at empty tables. Now my friends are dead and gone. Here they talked of revolution. Here it was they lit the flame. Here they sang about tomorrow, and tomorrow never came. From the table in the corner, they could see a world reborn, and they rose with voices ringing, and I can hear them now, the very words that they had sung became their last communion. Lonely barricades at dawn. Oh, my friends, forgive me that I live and you are gone. There's a grief that can't be spoken. There's a pain goes on and on. Phantom faces at the window, phantom shadows on the floor, empty chairs and empty tables. Now my friends will meet no more. Oh, my friends, don't ask me what your sacrifice was for. Empty chairs and empty tables. Now my friends will sing.
By the way, that's Michael Ball. This was, I guess, 25 years ago. Michael Ball is a very, very prominent British theater actor. He's very well known there, and one that you certainly go to see when he appears in things. On my London trip that didn't happen last spring, we were due to see him actually do Hairspray. What a shame. In any event, chess is also about politics, a metaphor with a chess match, and are showing how people between East and West were maneuvered by governments. The chess match between a Russian and an American with behind the Iron Curtain espionage, very, very popular in London. It ran forever. It did not fare as well in the United States. They tried to fix the book to settle into U.S. tastes a little better. It just didn't work. But a friend of mine, Hugh Wooldridge, actually directed this production, which features Josh Groban.
No madness sand, power may prevail, can possess, conquer my country's heart, they rise to fail. She is eternal, long before nations' lines were drawn, when no flags flew and no armies stood, my land was born. And you ask me why I love her, through wars, death and despair. She is the constant, we who don't care. And you wonder, will I leave her? But how? I cross over borders, but I'm still there now.
Wow, you know, Josh Groban really, it's unbelievable. Miss Saigon, very politically charged. You know, the story of the fall of Saigon, based upon sort of an interpretation of the Madame Butterfly story, truly, it's viewed with a little bit of angst. Miss Saigon created an enormous problem for American Actors Equity, that when it was to come from England in the 1990s, they wanted to bring the entire British cast intact. Jonathan Pryce, who created the role of the engineer, was not Asian, and American Actors Equity found that tremendously disgraceful, that there were plenty of Asian actors who could take the role. And to negotiate this out, they allowed Jonathan, it took 18 months actually. Jonathan Pryce came and created the role, but after he left, it never could be played again by a racially inappropriate actor.
Welcome to Dreamland!
That he's on in Saigon. The girls are ready to screw. One of these 6 will be to Saigon. And since we're stuck here in hell, what's a soldier to do?
Marjorie, my love, tonight. The movie is over.
the whole story, the sweep of it, the scope. And this was also the era of the British pop opera where the productions had to be extremely large and over the top, hence the simulation of the helicopter landing on the stage. And this was what people wanted to pay for in the 1990s. The ticket prices had gotten to the $60 range, and people felt if they were going to spend that kind of money on a Broadway event, they wanted to be dazzled by the special effects. Ragtime is another, of course, the E.L. Doctorow novel that talks about the complications of the times in the early 1900s, the epic sweep of the novel, providing the backdrop for racism and politics, intermingling real characters of the time with fictional storytelling, certainly captured something. It was tremendously overshadowed by The Lion King, which opened the same year, but Ragtime still is powerful storytelling, and it gives us a sense of the complications of politics at the turn of the last century.
In 1902, Father built a house at the crest of the Broadview Avenue Hill in New Rochelle, New York, and it seemed for some years thereafter that all the family's days would be warm and fair.
The skies were blue and hazy, barely a storm, barely a chill. La, 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 la. The afternoons were lazy, everyone warm, everything still. La, 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 la. And there was distant music, simple and somewhat sublime, giving the nation a new syncopation. The people call it ragtime. The days were gently tinted, lavender pink, lavender lime. Ladies with parasols,
Fellows with tennis balls, there were gazebos, and there were no Negroes.
and everything was ragtime.
Up in Harlem, people danced to a music that was theirs and no one else's. The sound of changing times, the music of a better day.
Listen to that ragtime. Ladies with parasols, fellows with tennis balls. There were no Negroes and there were no immigrants. Gentle is America.
They came from Western and Eastern Europe by the thousands. No dream was too big. They would be the next J.P. Morgan, Evelyn Nesbit, or Henry Ford. It would be their century too. It was only 1906.
And there were 94 years to go. And there was music playing, catching a nation in its pride. Beggar and millionaire, everyone everywhere, moving to the ragtime. People call it ragtime.
First of all, Ragtime introduced us to several important actors at the time. Marin Mazzie, Brian Stokes Mitchell, and Audra McDonald all were in the original production of Ragtime. Also, I hope you notice how many people were on the stage. To stage Ragtime today is an outrageously expensive scenario. There's literally 45 people on the stage. It's just a very, very costly scenario. Another musical that focused on culture clash and tragedy, just as Ragtime did, is the musical Parade, based upon a true story of Leo Frank, who a Jewish man from New York who moves to the South. He's ostracized not only by his own Jewish community because he's from Eastern Europe, not Western Europe, but he's falsely accused of a crime, and he is actually pardoned, but then lynched. It really is a very sad and difficult musical to watch. And when you think about storytelling, the fact that the story of Leo Frank could be set to music is in itself
Here now from Parade, as the man and his wife are Tony nominees Brent Carver and Carolee Carmello.
Hey, Leo!
What?
Message from your wife.
Oh, God, what's happened?
She told me to tell you that you know who is going to re-examine you know what.
Say that again?
You know who is going to re-examine you know what.
Oh, my sweet Lucille, how did you ever manage it? It means cancel all your parties. Forget your big parade.
Now settle down now.
It means the crowds will not be cheering, so despite what you've been hearing, you can lay down your spade.
Leo, hush up.
It means my mother can stop crying.
All right.
My rabbi's eulogy can wait. It means that Dorsey can stop beaming, and my cousin can stop dreaming of his portion of my estates. It means no, this isn't over. No, the date's not set. No, I won't wake up tomorrow drowning in my sweat. It means I've got the greatest partner any man can get. It means I'll never, ever, ever underestimate that woman, 'cause this is not over yet. Tell my uncle not to worry, tell the reaper not to hurry, make the hangman stop his drumming, 'cause I'm coming into town to win the day. Somehow I have it with my scheming, screw things up beyond redeeming, and we're finally on our way. And no, this isn't over, hell, it's just begun. Hail the resurrection of the Southlea's favorite son. It means I took a vow for better, and two is better than one. It means the journey ahead might get shorter. I might reach the end of my rope, but suddenly loud as a mortar, there is hope. Finally hope.
Yes, Leo, there's hope.
The things I see in you. It means a man who isn't guilty doesn't have to walk the plank. It means the gallows still are vacant, and we've got my wife to thank. It means you shouldn't underestimate Lucille and Leo Frank, 'cause this is not over.
such a frightening, true story, sad as it is. It made it a difficult musical to watch. How Prince loved it. He directed it. But, you know, again, a very difficult story, a tragic tale. And to be set to music. Titanic, of course, the story of people emigrating out of Europe. Urinetown, a political satire of government overstepping and controlling life, the story about when you can, in fact, go to the bathroom. And then Hairspray, you know, all about, you know, the Baltimore Civil Rights era. You know, truly a wonderful bit of storytelling about the Civil Rights era and, you know, fitting in, people being different, not being so totally ostracized. And there's this wonderful love song that, you know, of course, one part of the conceit is that Edna Turnblad has to be a man portrayed as a woman in a fat suit. I think I got that backwards. It's a woman being portrayed by a man in a fat suit. And that was part of the conceit that was insistent upon John Waters allowing it to be converted into musical theater. Well, I dabbled last week with singing live, and I'm going to try to do it again. Styles keep a-changing, the world's rearranging, but Edna, you're timeless to me. Hairlines are shorter, a beer costs a quarter, but time cannot take what comes free. You're like a stinky old cheese, babe, just getting riper with age. You're like a fatal disease, babe, but there's no cure, so let the fever rage. Some folks can't stand it, that time is a bandit, but I take the opposite view. 'Cause when I need a lift, time brings a gift, another day with you. A twist or a waltz, it's all the same schmaltz with just a change in the scenery. You'll never be old hat, that's that, you're timeless to me. And of course the satire there, what kind of a love song is that? But in any event, another scene from Hairspray from the Tonys. It's wonderful.
Excuse me. The hardest part about playing Edna is the preparation. There's a lot of time spent on makeup and hair and the body that I wear so that when I walk out on stage, I can pull off this magic trick, which is to make you believe that this 250-pound man is a 300-pound woman.
Hey, baby, look at me. I'm the cutest chickie that you ever did see. Hey, baby, look at us.
She's very determined, she's very outgoing, she's very outspoken. She wants to change the world, but she doesn't realize that's really what she's trying to do. She just wants to dance on a dance show and get the cute boy and do what she wants to do, and she doesn't see why she can't do it.
It takes two.
Tracy Turnblad! We're on national TV! You can't stop an avalanche as it races down the hill. You can try to stop those seasons, girl, but you know you never will. And you can try to stop my dancing feet, but I just cannot stand still. To the world you spinning round and round, and my heart keeps time to the speed of sound. I was lost till I heard the drum. This whole world began. A woman got it. If she shook it, she can shake up a man. So I'm gonna shake and shimmy and that's what I can do today. You can't stop the ocean or the ocean or the sun in the sky. If you wonder if you want to
Christmas time. So if you don't like the way I look, well, I just don't give a damn. Because the world keeps spinning round and round, and my heart keeps time to the speed of sound. I was lost and I heard the drum, and I found my way. You can't stop me. Ever since this whole world began, a woman got out and she shook it, she could shake up a man. So I got to shake the city. You can't stop the motion of the ocean or the sun in the sky. If you wanna, but I never ask for. Only that I'm gonna spit in your eye and say, you can't stop the beat.
And of course, that's Harvey Fierstein, Matthew Morrison, and Martha J. Whittaker. Avenue Q, you know, Sesame Street for 20 and 30 somethings, talking about, you know, the cultural issues that young 20th young 20 somethings feel. There's one other song from Avenue Q that is just so true today, and that's this one. What do you do with a BA in English? What is my life going to be? 4 years of college and plenty of knowledge have earned me this useless degree. I can't pay the bills yet, 'cause I have no skills yet. The world is a big scary place. But somehow I can't shake the feeling I might make a difference to the human race. Again, Avenue Q. Well, we go through, there's In the Heights, of course, about cultural differences, but let's get to Hamilton. You know, the story that, the musical that became the phenomenon that reinvented absolutely everything about musical theater. And today, this will probably become the Oklahoma of this century, the musical that reinvented storytelling because of its use of rap and creative ballads and an interracial cast.
Let me tell you what I wish I'd known when I was young and dreamed of glory. You have no control. Who lives, who dies, who tells your story. I know that we can win. I know that greatness lies in you. But remember, from here on in, history has its eyes on you. History has its eyes on you.
Now, I want to go to an important couple of scenes of Hamilton just quickly to show you some different things. Disney has put some effects in there that you have to put up with, unfortunately, so we can't steal it. But here you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, you could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you're here with us in New York City. Are you ready for a cabinet meeting? The issue on the table: Secretary Hamilton's plan to assume state debts and establish a national bank. Secretary Jefferson, you have the floor, sir.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We fought for these ideals, we shouldn't settle for less. These are wise words, enterprising men quote them. Don't act surprised, you guys, 'cause I wrote them. Ow, but Hamilton forgets. His plan would have the government assume states' debts. Now place your bets as to who that benefits. The very seat of government where Hamilton sits.
Not true.
Oh, if the shoe fits, wear it. If New York's in debt, why should Virginia bear it? Our debts are paid, I'm afraid. Don't tax the South, cause we got it made in the shade. In Virginia, we plant seeds in the ground. We create. You just want to move our money around. This financial plan is an outrageous demand, and it's too many damn pages for any man to understand. Stand with me in the land of the free. Pray to God we never see Hamilton's candidacy. Look, when Britain taxed our tea, we got frisky. Imagine what gonna happen when you try to tax our whiskey.
Thank you, Secretary Jefferson. Secretary Hamilton, your response. Thomas, that was a real nice declaration. Welcome to the present. We're running a real nation. Would you like to join us? Or stay mellow, doing whatever the hell it is you do in Monticello. If we assume the debts the union gets, a new line of credit, a financial diuretic, how do you not get it? If we're aggressive and competitive, the union gets a boost. You'd rather give it a sedative? A civics lesson from a slaver. Hey neighbor, your debts are paid because you don't pay for labor. We plant seeds in the South, we create, you keep ranting. We know who's really doing the planting. And another thing, Mr. Age of Enlightenment, don't lecture me about the war, you didn't fight in it. You think I'm frightened of you, man? We almost died in the trench while you were off getting high with the French. Thomas Jefferson always hesitant with the president. Reticent, there isn't a plan he hasn't jettisoned. Madison, you mad as a hatter, so take your medicine. Damn, you in worse shape than the national debt isn't. Sitting there useless as two shits. Hey, turn around, bend over, I'll show you where my shoe fits. Excuse me. Madison, Jefferson, take a walk. Hamilton, take a walk. We're going to reconvene after a brief recess. Hamilton, sir, a word.
You don't have the votes. You don't have the votes. You're gonna need congressional approval and you don't have the votes. Such a blunder. Sometimes it makes me wonder why I even bring the thunder. Why he even brings the thunder.
And do we think anything has changed in all these years?
Well, the president-elect of the United States of America is in a Twitter fight with the cast of the Broadway musical Hamilton. Why, you ask? It all started Friday night when Vice President-elect Mike Pence went on to see the show. Yep, you heard the boos there, a mix of claps and boos, in fact, for the Vice President-elect. That was during the curtain call. Brandon Victor Dixon, the actor portraying Aaron Burr, delivered a message to Pence. It was a plea for tolerance.
You know, we had a guest in the audience this evening. And Vice President-elect Pence, I see you walking up, and I hope you will hear us just a few more moments. There's nothing to move here, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing to move here. We're all here sharing a story of love. We have a message for you, sir. We hope that you will hear us out. And I encourage everybody to pull out your phones and tweet and post, because this message needs to be spread far and wide, okay? Vice President-elect Pence, we welcome you and we truly thank you for joining us here at Hamilton, an American Musical. We really do. We, sir, we are the diverse America who are alarmed and anxious that your new administration will not protect us, our planet, our children, our parents, or defend us and uphold our inalienable rights, sir. But we truly hope that this show has inspired you to uphold our American values and to work on behalf of all of us. All of us. This wonderful American story told by a diverse group of men, women of different colors, creeds, and orientations.
So apparently Pence didn't stick around. He left the theater as Dixon began his speech. So it's unclear whether he even heard the plea. But after the theater cleared out, Dixon spoke to reporters about why he and the cast decided to address Pence.
You know, there it is. It's politics on the musical stage. I'm going to end with an upbeat. How cultures came together in time of need. No, that's not it. Wait a minute. That was Come From Away. The band's visit, of course, the same kind of a situation, people coming together. And Tootsie, the story of understanding between the sexes. Well, I hope we had fun today. I know we went a long way, and I'm trying to read some of the chats real quick before we Just reading through. Someone asked where I learned to sing like that. Yeah, I did sing professionally. I thought a lot of people knew. You know, I've always sung in my lectures. And when we went to the Zoom format, I was a little reluctant to do it because I didn't know how it would come across with the sound. And I tried it last week. My wife's been urging me to do it, and a lot of my friends here have been urging me to do it. I've been singing since I'm 14 years old. I did perform when I was young, and it's just part of who I am. And when I'm on the cruise ships, I always sing as part of the lectures. And I've been taught by some great people. Someone wants my autograph. Yeah, sure. Okay. I'm just trying to read through some of the comments. There's so many. Josh Groban really was. That whole chess is available on a DVD. You can get it. You can watch it on YouTube. That was Elaine Page. Adams, yeah, I'm just looking through to see if there's anything else. Again, I can't see the chats while I have the screen shared, so I'm sorry for the delay. I hope everybody enjoyed this. Please tell your friends. I know we picked up some people this week because friends told them about our lectures. Keep sharing. I love meeting everybody here like this, and you know, this makes my Friday mornings too, and it gives me a purpose all week long. I'm always working on it and looking for new things. So thank you all so much for being